Welcome everybody to the channel. My name is Bronson Miller, and this is going to be the start to my Balatro tier list series. Hopefully you guys find this maybe entertaining, but more importantly, hopefully educational, and maybe some of the stuff that I discuss in this series can, I don't know, help you guys out in your future gold stake runs. Yeah. Now, the biggest thing is all of these tier list videos will be ranked in the context of Gold Stake, as that's the main way I play the game. And so, yeah, so anything like high stakes and high scores, more or less, art will not be taken into account for this tier list series. So just keep that in mind, I guess. But yeah, here we go. All right, so our first one up, we have Overstock. We get plus one extra item in the shop. This is it's pretty good, I'd say. I'd take it generally most of the time. I think I'll put it in solid B tier, you know. It's just pretty solid all around. You get to see more jokers, you see more tarot cards, I guess. It's not too much about it. Um, but yeah, no, pretty solid Joker. It's Overstock Plus though. That obviously, yeah, that's going to be a lot better for sure. Having four cards in the shop instead of two is, yeah, no, I mean, can't go wrong with it at all. Being able to find your Jokers and the things you need for your build is very important. And basically being able to see more jokers in the shop, you reroll less and you save money off of it. So, in a way, you can almost think of these kind of like an econ kind of voucher. Like it basically pays itself back by giving you more cards, so you have to reroll less. So, yeah. On the same note, I'm going to rank this one also pretty similarly, the clearance voucher. I mean, obviously for the same reasons, you just save money. Money is very important in gold stakes. I'm going to probably repeat this a lot in this series, but economy is basically your lifeline in gold stakes. If you don't have economy, you're basically dead meat unless you literally have your entire build complete. Um, but yeah, and obviously, the second tier for clearance is obviously going to go in easy A tier, very powerful. Would not say these are the best of the best though. Obviously, you still need the $10 for any of these, so that does set you back quite a bit, but it does eventually pay themselves off. So make sure to save that money up and try to get these vouchers if you can, for sure. Unfortunately, on a lower note, we're going to see, I think it's Hone or something. This not very good. I'm sorry. And I'm also gonna second tier also goes in here. Just the thing is, so Hone, it gives you a better chance to find I guess special jokers with additions. I believe that's what it's called. Additions in the shop. So you could get a joker with foil on it, gives you 50 extra chips, or a hologram or holofoil, or what was it, polychrome or something, giving you 10 malt or giving you 0.5x malt, which is very strong for sure. The problem is it's just still a low chance. Like you'll definitely see those jokers with foil and you know, the plus 10 malt and the 0.5 malt, right? But the fact is they're just random. I mean, if it hits on the right joker that you want, I mean that's awesome. That'd be great. But you know, it's random and the chances are still pretty low. It really does not justify spending $10 on either of these vouchers, honestly. So unfortunately, these are going in the D tier. Like just just don't buy it. It's not worth it. Um, and reroll the reroll vouchers. This one is probably going to go in the same tier as the rest of these econ vouchers, I guess you can call them. Again, re-rolling important. cheaper rerolls are pretty cool. They start out makes you start out at $3, I believe, and then it goes up to $4 and then $5 on the third reroll. So yeah, pretty good. And obviously the second tier is also incredibly strong, um, showing you very dirt cheap rerolls. You get to see a lot of stuff with these. Definitely, I will say I'm kind of guilty. I do not buy this one enough. I don't always love the idea of rerolling. But that's more just my brain being dumb and not liking the uh not I don't know. I don't like the fact that I have a good chance of just getting nothing, but the fact of the matter is that rerolling is very important for gold stakes, and obviously, yeah, no, the vouchers are very good. It's probably something I should be buying more myself. So now on a different note, enough with the all the economy jokers. We have the consumable. I forget what you call it, the little globe thing. All right. Yeah, I'm so good with names. Okay. Um. Anyway, this one gives you +1 consumable slots. So you go from 2 to 3. If you're playing the Nebula deck, you start out with only one. So having that extra going back up to 2 with this voucher is definitely quite useful. Um, where I'm gonna place it, you see, this is a nice voucher to have, right? It's a nice one to have, and I think okay, I don't want to like bloat these specific tiers too much. Um, but I think it's not game breaking by any means. I don't think it is, but it's definitely quite useful. I would actually put them on the same tier as these other economy jokers, and that's because of let's see, was it planet blocking? Yep. So if you don't know in Balatro, unless you have the Showman Joker, which specifically breaks this rule, if you have any type of like a planet card, a tarot card, or a joker card, that same joker planet tarot card cannot show up again in the shop if you have it on you. If I'm holding a hermit, I cannot find a hermit in any voucher or any booster packs or any of the shop rerolls at all. And same goes for any jokers. So what you can do is you can abuse this mechanic. Specifically, it works very well with planet cards, right? Uh, so at the start of the game, you have 9 different planet cards available to you. If you have this helps with this technique, but basically you can hold 3 different planet cards you don't want, right? You find them in the shop, you buy them because you don't want to see them. All right, now those planet cards can't show up again. So if you are holding, let's say we're holding a high card planet, a four of a kind planet, and a flush planet, right? And you're looking maybe for pairs, right? What is it, Mercury, I think. So you open up say, a large planet booster pack, right? And it has 5 planets in there, right? And none of them can be a four of a kind, a flush, or a high card since you're already holding those planet cards. So that only leaves 6 planets to appear in a booster pack that's going to have 5 different planet cards. That gives you a 5 in 6 chance of you seeing that planet that you want. So it's kind of like a budget telescope, basically. I think it's pretty underrated. The downside is that you can't you're out of luck if you can't if you need to hold space or need to hold a tarot card for any reason. So that kind of sucks. But it is definitely a strategy I like to use from time to time. It's definitely something that's quite useful. But I'm not going to put it any higher than B tier though, as it is definitely a nice voucher to have for sure, but it's not the most game breaking. But I will say one more thing. Let me yap a little bit more. Um, something I like to do is if I'm coming up to a boss blind, having tarot cards specifically in your inventory is very, very nice. And being able to hold 3 at a time is pretty powerful. Like, Let's say you're playing four of a kind. You can hold a death, which will turn one of your cards into an exact copy of another one of your cards. All right. You basically can get a freebie if you don't draw the four of a kind, or maybe it's a five of a kind, or maybe you find out, oh crap, I need a little bit more scoring. You can hold some like glass card. You can make a card out of glass and get that last bit of scoring you need. Or maybe you're fighting the final boss and you decide, you know what, I'm going to hold all these extra scoring cards, like a steel card, a glass card, and maybe a death card, or a fool, and then you don't have to find those cards in your deck. You can just make them on the spot, and you can guarantee you end up with those enhanced cards to get the scoring that you need. So definitely quite powerful for sure. But just one extra consumable slot doesn't break the game, but it's definitely one of my favorite vouchers to get for sure. Now, unfortunately, its second tier is, I think it's another D for me. I'm sorry. So what this one does is, unfortunately, much to my dismay, does not give you a fourth consumable slot. This one instead gives you basically a 20% chance to replace a tarot card with a spectral card. Now, I do plan to do a tarot card, or well, just a consumable tier list eventually with the tarot cards, the planet cards, and the spectrals. But long story short, um, spectrals are some of the most hit or miss cards in the game. Like, spectral cards are either going to be like literally absolutely run changing, right? Or just absolutely worthless. There's next to no in between when it comes to spectral cards. So this could end up being really good. Maybe you get something like an immolate. You get to destroy 5 cards, which is good because thinning down your deck is a very important thing in Balatro. It helps you a ton to find the important cards that you actually need, and then it gives you $20, and well, it's $20, man. I don't think I have to explain why, that's pretty good. But also it could give you like the half a dozen spectral cards that are just kind of just garbage. There's not a lot of the ways to put it. They're just bad, right? It sucks. So, honestly, if I'm opening up a tarot pack, I want to see tarot cards, right? Because tarot cards are kind of like the inverse of spectral cards, right? They have much, their lows aren't nearly as low and their highs aren't nearly as high, but they're still, but I know what I want, right? If I'm opening a spectral pack, I'm looking for those highs. If I don't get the high, it's whatever, right? It's a gamble, right? And generally, I'm only going for those gambles like early game or mid early game. You know what I mean? Late game, there's not much point to go for those gambles because my build will be too concrete, I guess. And I'm taking tarot cards or tarot booster packs to get just to kind of like slowly build up my deck to the point where it can get the proper scoring that it needs to beat anti-8. So yeah, this one gonna go in D tier, unfortunately. Okay, now for the next one. Telescope. Okay, telescope. I had a. This one kind of makes me sad. Cause starting out, I love telescope, man. If I if I made this tier list, the first maybe 50, maybe 80, maybe even 100 hours of playing this game, I would have put it S tier, no questions asked. All right. But lately, I've been, I feel betrayed, honestly. I'm starting to realize that telescope just ain't it. And this is, I guess, says something more maybe about the meta of Balatro. And don't take this the wrong way. But planet cards, all right, are good, and telescope being able to give you planet cards that you want is very good. Like, for example, you get a telescope that'll proc for your straights. Straights are some of the best scaling planet cards in the game for a hand that is pretty reasonable-ish to play, right? 3 molt and 30 chips per planet card is pretty powerful. It's very good. And just to let you know how planet telescope works is your most played hand in that round will make sure that its respective planet card will always show up in a planet booster pack. So being able to consistently get a source of that planet card that you want is very powerful. However, here's the problem: is making sure. So there's basically two different types. There's like two different types of planets you're gonna want, right? Most of the time, you're either playing a spam kind of build, right? And you're looking for your spam planets, or you're playing a 5 card kind of build, or a 5 card hand kind of build, where you're playing something that's harder to make. Maybe it's like a four of a kind or a straight. A kind of hand that you're only going to play one of, and you're going to hope that it's enough to beat the entire blind by itself. Whereas the spam build is more you're playing a bunch of pairs or high card, maybe 2 pairs, something like that. You're playing a bunch of them, right? So the problem with the spam build is they don't generally have good planet cards, right? High card is really bad. 1 molt and 10 chips per planet card is genuinely awful. It's not even, in my opinion, it's not even worth like going for planet cards if you're playing high card. If your build revolves around high card, it's not even worth going because the planet cards for it just give so little. Uh, Pairs is fine. Pair is one of the best hands in the game for gold stake, but its planet card is still pretty weak. It's at like 1 molt and 15 chips. Not very good. Now, if you're playing a 5 card hand, though, okay, like straights give 3 molt and 30 chips. Four of a kind gives 3 molt and 30 chips. Straight flushes give 4 molt and 40 chips. But I don't know why you're playing straight flushes. Why would you do that to yourself? I don't know. Anyways, I'm not questioning it, but the thing is, if you're playing a spam build, the planets aren't giving that much. But if you're playing a high card build, the thing they don't tell you is that it's kind of hard to get telescope to proc actually for high card or for your 5 card build, because the thing is a lot of times you'll end up using your hands and your discards to find the one 5 card hand. So like it's a very common strategy to, okay, after you use your discards, okay, we still don't have the straight we need to win. Okay, now we're gonna just play cards because they still draw back more cards for us. So we could basically use our remaining hands, as pseudo discards. The problem with that is that also messes with telescope. So if you're not careful, you can very easily make pair your your most played hand, or high card your most played hand, when you're just trying to, level up your straights, but you can't. And now if you're making pair or high card your most played hand, now you're making planet cards worse because they're always going to have a planet card that you don't want. And it makes it very difficult to actually, you know, it's a lot harder than you might think to get telescope to proc on those harder to play hands. And here's another thing. Even on top of that, even if you're not playing a 5 card hand, literally anything that isn't high card is so annoying to play with telescope, because you can't use because for me personally, I always like to use as many hands as I can, and you should be trying to, or well, it's called digging, right? You want to be digging in your deck as much as you can. If you have cards like a gold card, if you have cards like a blue seal giving you more planet cards, if you're trying to find very specific hands, if you have these valuable cards in your deck, you want to find them to get more value. And a lot of times, even if you're playing an easy to play hand like a pair, you might still try to play trash hands just to look for those valuable cards, like the gold seals and the blue seals. Maybe you need more scoring, like glass cards or steel cards. The thing is, if you're not careful, you can also very easily make high card that most played hand, and then you're just stuck with a bunch of high card levels. And if unless your build revolves around high card, then telescope is basically worthless and is actually harming you. And even if your build does revolve around high card, telescope kind of just it well then it's just not that worth it, because one malt and 10 chips is pretty garbage. It's not like it's gonna, I mean, it's something, but it's not enough personally for me to justify it. Um, but I won't deny I want to put it in C tier. I really do. I might, but I can't deny that. Shoot. Okay. I don't. I'm gonna put it in C tier. Yep, it's going in C tier. And actually, just because of that, I changed my mind on Crystal Ball. It's also going down to C tier. I need to level these tiers out just a little bit. But yeah, no, it just Telescope is not as good as you think. It's nice to have, right? Me putting it in C tier doesn't mean it's terrible or useless, but it's just nice. You know what I mean? It's not doing a whole ton. It's not breaking the game. It still costs $10. Well, it's sometimes 30, but you know what I mean. It's fine. It's just fine. Okay. Observatory. I actually remember the name for this one. All right, Observatory. Oh boy. Okay, so this one I rarely ever use, but I will not deny it's not a bad one. I think it's it's good. It can be quite good. Definitely a step up from Telescope for sure, but it's not. It you do have to be careful with it. All right. So how it works is it gives you a 1.5 times multiplier to your final score for every planet card you have that corresponds to the hand that you play in your inventory. Sorry, that was a lot of words. Basically, if you are holding the corresponding planet card in your hand when you play that same hand, if you're holding a pair in your, or if you play a pair holding a planet card for a pair, it gives you a 0.5 times mult. Sorry, that was I should, I could have explained that so much easier. I'm sorry. But basically, for every one of those, you get that 0.5 times multiplier. That's pretty solid. It's pretty good. The problem you have to worry about, I mentioned this when I was talking about the crystal ball, is that you can't just hold that all the time, because then you won't see that card again. You won't, if you're holding a Saturn card, right? You want that times 5 or 0.5 times mult for your straights, right? You can't see more Saturns. You can't level up your straights more as long as you're holding them. So it's kind of something that it's something you basically only use in like the end game when you're getting that final bit of mult. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna put it down to C tier. I kind of want to because of just how rarely I ever use this. But to be fair, you also just don't see the second tiers very often because you have to buy the first tier first and then get lucky enough to see the second tier. At least in gold stakes, you don't. So, fair enough, I guess. But yeah, no, it's just not super great. Um, but yeah, it's fine. It's rarely used, but when you can use it or get it, use it. It does pretty good. It does pretty good. But yeah. All right, next one, grabber. All right, here is our first S tier. Easiest, easiest S tier of my life. All right. So, grabber, what does it do? All right, it gives you +1 hand, and this this is something I would legit consider selling my jokers to get. Grabber. So the reason why hands are just so good in Balatro, at least right now, I mean, it's just good for everything. So hands, obviously, you need hands to play hands to score points. All right, it's more scoring. If you have unused hands at the end of a round, you get extra money for them. All right, it's economy right now. All right, and you can use hands as extra discards. So you can use it to search for your value generators or your value cards, like your gold cards and your blue seals, giving you more money or more scoring. It just does everything you need. It should also be noted that since Balatro, at least Balatro Gold Stakes, is in a very prevalent pair spam kind of meta right now, an extra hand is incredible. Incredible. Because you go from, let's say you score 100,000 per no, sorry. Let's say you score 80,000, right? 80,000 per pair. And the end game boss is 400,000 points. You need 400,000 points, all right? 80,000 per pair. You play four pairs. What do you get? 320,000 points. That's sad. But with an extra hand, that's 80,000 is fine. Before, without the extra hand, you would need your pairs to score 100,000 each. But now they only need to score 80,000. You need less points now. You have to worry about getting less points just because you have one extra hand. And I'll probably talk more and more about how powerful the spam pair meta is right now, but just know this, you have to get this. If this extra hand ever pops up, you should genuinely consider selling your jokers if you don't have the money for whatever reason. But very good economy. Uh, is good for can be used as pseudo discards. It's more scoring. It just does everything. It's incredible. And I mean, obviously, I'm not going to spend too much more time talking about, but Nacho Tong, just another hand, insane, awesome. Also, if you have Nacho Tong, you can also loyalty card is a random joker that becomes incredible because it gives you times four mult every six hands, and the fact that you can play six hands in a single round means you can consistently proc it every single round. So I think so that also makes that joker a lot more viable. So yeah. Anyways, now next to the discard. So the discards plus one discard is not going to be nearly as powerful. Uh, I I don't really want to put it in A tier because it's discards only do a fraction of what hands can do. And for every time that discards are better than hands, there's like an equal, if not way more, amounts of times that hands do better than discards. Like, I mean, you have specific Joker situations, like Yorick, the legendary Joker. Every 23 cards you discard, you get an extra. It adds one extra times mult to it. It's a very good, powerful times mult scaling Joker. So obviously, having more discards, very powerful for that one. You have things like, shoot, yeah, purple seals, which when you discard them, you can or you get your tarot cards off of them for free. That's nice. Castle gets chips when you discard its respective suit. It's pretty solid. It's still good, right? You can still use discards to get and find your valuable cards in your deck or make those harder to play hands like straights and stuff. Very, very good. I definitely will pick it, always try to pick it up if I can. But definitely not anywhere near the same thing as Grabber. But for that reason too, also I think I'll just end up putting the its second tier also just in the same tier. Obviously, still having that extra discard, very nice. Going from, well, at least with Gold Stake right now, and the fact that Blue Stake exists, you start with two discards, and having these two making you up to four discards is just amazing. It feels so nice. It's so good. But yeah, yep. So that's that. Um, oh yeah, and one more thing, why hands are better than discards is there's Also, a weird amount of jokers that just kind of hate discards. You have like delayed gratification. It gives you money for every discard you have at the end of the round, but you're also not allowed to use any discards to get that money in the first place. You have ramen, which is just a straight up 2x malt, which is amazing, just doubling your score outright, but it loses X malt for every card you discard, which makes sad. You have burglar, which eats all of your discards. Oh yeah, that's another thing. So burglar, it gives you +3 hands, which is amazing, but it also doesn't care how many discards you've had before then. If you have like if you had like even 4 discards, right, you still only get 3 hands. So just another thing to watch out for if you're playing a burglar run. So yeah. But yeah, that's basically that. So yeah. All right. So t- tarot merchant. Tarot merchant. Man, I really hate bloating a tier like this. This kind of makes me feel bad. It's fine. Okay, it's fine. I mean, I don't know. I guess just most of the vouchers are just pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie. For me, I always like to pick up Tarot Merchant. Uh, of the 3 things that you can see in the shop normally, you have jokers, tarot cards, and planet cards. I always like to see me a tarot card in the shop because that also means I can bring it along with me. And having a tarot card, like I was talking before, in your inventory is just nice. You can use it for emergencies, make sure guarantee that you get that specific glass card or steel card in your hand when you need it the most. It's just solid. It's pretty good. And also tarot cards in general. I love taking this voucher after like I have all 5 jokers that I want. Like after I get all like okay, these are the jokers that are going to the end, right? I love being able to take this voucher because then I see less jokers and then I see more tarot cards, which help me fine tune out the deck. And that's generally what I'm mostly purchasing in the end game. Is after I get all my jokers, just more tarot cards, just changing the deck ever a little bit here or there, getting rid of some cards I don't need, getting some more money because a lot of tarot cards do give a very good amount of money. You get like gold cards from tarot cards. You get the Hermit, which doubles your money up to $20. There's the forget what's his name, Temperance, that gives you basically all of your Joker's sell value combined in straight cash. It's really good. And for that same reason, I would also put Tarot Merchant. I think they're second tier in same thing with B. Some people say that the second tier is too many tarot cards, but most of the time, by the time I see this voucher, which is going to be later in the game, obviously, because that's just how second tiers normally work, you know. If you actually do see them, it is going to be generally later in the game, most of the time than not. Honestly, I'm probably going to already have, or I should hopefully already have all of my jokers already in place, and I'm just trying to fine tune the deck as much as I can to make sure I'm able to beat whatever uh, comes next, I guess. So honestly, seeing more tarot cards normally is never a problem for me. I always love to pick this one up if I can. So yeah. Okay. Enough of the B tier, I guess. Now we're gonna go down to the Planet Merchant, and this one is a D tier. Yeah, this is okay, not okay. So both of these, uh, no, I can't put these on the same level as. Nope, not gonna put these in the same level as Telescope. But these are not good. These are definitely I'd say the top. If anything, these are definitely the top of D tier. I'll give them that. But they're not very good because seeing random planet cards in your shop is just not good. You know, that could have been some that key joker that you needed to finish your build maybe, or a really useful planet card, or not planet card, a tarot card, you know. No, but it's just another planet. The thing with planets is you generally only want to see one planet card out of the 9 planet cards that you start out with, not including the 3 secret ones, which you can't see until you play those hands. But you there's only you want to see one specific planet card, and the 8 others you don't care about. And these vouchers don't care about what what planet cards you do and don't see. There is one situation though, one situation where these are absolute ballers though. And honestly, I would put them up here, but if that situation is you have Constellation. It's a joker that gives you point 0.1 times mult every time you use a planet card. And it's very strong. It's a very consistent and good scaling X mult joker. It's very easy to get up to 3, maybe even 4 times mult by the end of the game. It's a slow scaling but very consistent and very reliable scaling joker. And if I have Constellation, I see these vouchers, I will definitely take them every day of the week, because getting that Constellation scaled up as much as possible. Xmult is so good in this game. I mean, obviously, it just multiplies your score straight up. Um, so that is the reason why this is going to be at the top of D tier. But other than that, I don't. Other than outside of that the one scenario, pretty bad. I wouldn't even use these to do like the broken telescope strategy or like planet blocking, because I also just want to see tarot cards and joker cards. And unless for whatever reason, even if I have all the jokers that I want, I still there's very rarely ever, at least in gold stake, where I just don't want to see more planet cards. So yeah, just not very good. Not good at all. Bad, stinky vouchers. All right, now, um, so okay, I'm gonna try to even out the tiers a little bit. Um, okay, so seed money. So this what it does is it raises the cap to oh, $20, I believe. So what that means is you can, if you hold 20, so normally if you hold $25 in the bank at the end of any blind you play, you'll get $5 of interest, which is very important. It's incredibly necessary, incredibly necessary to win at gold stakes. You know what I mean? Is maintaining that interest. And without, and obviously, so you'd think that okay, so now if I can get up to was it $10? Yeah, $10 in interest. That seems pretty good. I mean, which is good, yes, but the problem is, to get that $10 of interest, which seed money allows you to get, you need to hold $50 in your bank. Which, if you can, it's very good, but you have to, for gold stake and how quickly gold stake scales its points and just everything else gold stake has going on. Normally you don't really very rarely are you cruising enough to be able to save up that much money, 50 whole dollars, and also an, and then to get that value from it. And another thing is the voucher itself costs $10. So first you're down $10, and if you were like reasonably, maybe you're at like $30 if you're a good boy, and you save your money like a responsible little good gold stake Balatro player, right? And then you're at $30, ready to spend a little bit of money in the shop, but then boom, you see this, you buy it, now you're down to $20. Now you're lower on interest. You're only getting $4 around with interest, and then you need to somehow scrape together at least $10 more on top of it. You don't get to spend money on anything else, because if you do, Now you're getting less money around, and then the snowball kind of occurs. And not to mention, if you have things like rentals that you're already paying off, that interest money is already getting eaten up. It just in gold stake with all the stuff that's going on, it makes it pretty difficult to get to $50. And if you do, that's great. It's awesome. It becomes very strong if you do. But it's actually getting there in reasonably the amount of times you can actually get there while also buying the voucher itself. And for that reason, the tier two of it is easy bottom tier. um, if you're some, so this it doubles the interest cap again, so you can get up to $20 of interest, which requires you to hold $100. And if for whatever fucking reason you can hold $100, right, in gold stake, you're you don't need this voucher. You don't need that. You've won. You basically either are wasting your time and luck because you should be buying some lottery ticket, or like you've just won and this isn't going to change the fact whether you win or lose. Like you've already won if you're able to get value out of this out of the voucher, you know what I mean? So I it's just not very impactful because yeah, just the time you would normally get impact out of it, you're cruising, man. You don't need this voucher. You are cruising, man. So yeah, that's about that for those vouchers. Okay, so this one's okay. This next one's it's kind of weird. So blank does nothing, right? Absolutely nothing except for the fact that it allows antimatter to spawn. So you only buy blank to by itself. Blank is the worst voucher in the game because it just does nothing. It literally does nothing. But it allows you to technically be able to get antimatter, which gives you +1 Joker slot. Obviously, that's pretty fucking good, right? Having that extra Joker slot, it's just good. I shouldn't have to explain why having a whole nother Joker is incredible. How so like I don't know how you want to rank this. I mean, if we're doing it by itself, it's blank is terrible and antimatter is top tier, right? Um so I'm going to actually rank them directly side by side, and I'm gonna put them in the C tier. I mean, if you can, if you have the money to spend on blank, go ahead, do it. I mean, having that chance to get that extra Joker slot is great. But if I'm in a pinch for money, right? If I have more important things to worry about, like something genuine, right? If I need to save up my money, I'm not spending it on blank. It's for that small of a chance. It's a pretty small chance, right? Generally, you're only going to see 8 total vouchers in a run. And that first voucher, like good 80% of the time, you're not going to buy because you're already trying to save up money unless you're some privileged ass motherfucker who's like running gold deck or something. You know what I mean? And you start out with that money anyways. All right, good for you. All right. You're awesome. Cool, I guess. But yeah, no. Other than unless I'm already like good on money and I just happen to have $10 extra to throw at a blank, sure. And if I get antimatter, that's cool. If not, I mean, I fair enough, I guess. But yeah, no, it's just not that good. It's not worthless though. Like if you do get antimatter, it's pretty good. But it's one of those things like only if I got the money to do it. You know what I mean? If I got that money, sure, let's go ahead, I guess. But now, this next. Oh, shoot. Now, these next ones, time to fill up the D tier, I guess. Oh my god. So, playing card is not the worst voucher. Or not the worst thing ever, right? I still think I still think that the hone and glow up vouchers are worse, maybe in my opinion. Maybe Crystal Ball tier 2. I don't know. This one is very similar to the Planet Merchant vouchers, as they are just uh, terrible unless you have the one card that makes them not terrible. And actually, just for that, hologram is incredible. So hologram is the one card that this does great with. It's awesome because you get I think it's 0.25 times mult every time you add a card to your deck. So being able to see cards in the shop and buy them as such is obviously great. It's incredible. It's a top tier buy if I have hologram. However, um this is Balatro we're talking about, and I don't get to get hologram when I want to get hologram, which is basically 99% of the time. At least it feels like it. So obviously that means 99% of the time this shit is fucking garbage. I do not want to add more cards to your deck. I want my deck thinned down so it's easier to find the actually important cards in my deck. I am not going to add two random sevens, a four, and like a three to my deck for no reason, unless I have that hologram card. And for its tier 2, it's not much. I don't think I'd ever buy this. I genuinely don't think. Because also also another thing, it allows the cards that you find in the shop that magic trick or card trick lets you find. That allows them to be enhanced and have additions, so it can come with like 10 extra malt, 50 chips, 0.5 times malt. That's fine. It's whatever. It's not that great. And also, it's supposed to have seals, which is awesome, but also apparently it's bugged, so it doesn't even give you seals in the first place. So it ends up being even more garbage now. Like, I'll take it if I don't have literally anything better to do with $10, I guess. But God, it's like next to no reason for me to ever take this shit. Ever. Oh God, I'm sorry. But yeah, no, this shit is awful. This is bad. Shit is terrible. Do not take this one. Nope, bad, bad, bad. Okay, now for some more interesting ones. Uh, Going back in time, or hieroglyph, or whatever it's called. I don't know. So this one is in very, very interesting. This is an incredibly situational voucher. When it works, right? However, however, the downside is you lose one hand, right? But you also go back one round. So you get more time to scale up your jokers, more time to make economy, more time to find the jokers to your build that you need. Whatever you need to do, it gives you more time to do it. That's awesome. That's great. But minus one hand is a pretty serious cost. And also the $10 too that you need to buy a voucher. So $10 and one hand. Like this I really don't care for this one too much. I think it's going in the C tier. Um when you now it's not completely useless. Unlike most of the other vouchers in the C tier, where they're fine, but they're not that great. This one is either really, really good, right? I'm in a tough spot. I actually need more time, or I am going to die. You know what I mean? To set up, and then boom, I can come back. Maybe I'll scale up just enough to start actually being able to win the game again. You know what I mean? Something like that. Or it's like this does literally nothing for me. There's no in between. Now, granted, I will say its second tier though, which is again goes back in time one round, is very good. As here you only lose a discard, and I think that is very powerful. As the discards, obviously, hands and discards are just not worth as much as hands. It doesn't affect your scoring for your pair meta. It doesn't. I mean, yes, you're gonna have a slightly harder time finding the hands or cards you need for your straights or something, or five of a kind or four of a kind or whatever it is. But you but that's only losing a discard for going back a whole round, I think is like something you should take unless you like know you're actually just going to win straight up, then I think you need to take this like every single time. Like I don't see me passing it up unless I know like yeah, I have like a blueprint and a madness with like three times small and all of my important jokers are eternal. You know, like unless I'm so set, I literally know I'm gonna win with a single pair or something like that. I'm definitely gonna take this for sure. But the first tier is very situational. You need be very careful on when you actually go for it, and it takes a lot of discernment and just general game knowledge to know when it is the play and when it isn't. Okay, and so these next set of vouchers, though, are a particular favorite. Specifically, the boss reroll voucher. Oh my god, this best best voucher in the game. No questions asked. All right, this shit is great. I love me a boss reroll. Why do I love this? Okay, because bosses suck in this game. All right, bosses fucking suck. All right, if the game says, you know what? Guess what? The final boss is a violet vessel that requires fucking, what is it? Three times the normal amount of points. You go from needing 400,000 points to 1,200,000. Bitch, I'm barely scraping by anti shits. Like I am on the verge of death. I'm just barely making it. And you're telling my ass needs to score three times the normal amount of points. That shit sucks. Okay. And this voucher makes it where you just don't have to deal with it. Pay 10 schmeckaroons, right? And Violet Vessel goes bye-bye. And yeah. And and other than that, like most of the other anti-8 bosses, in my opinion, generally don't really affect me too much. The bell can be annoying at times for sure, but like other than that, most sorry. Most end game bosses just don't sorry, I'm getting annoyed by a very specific person in this Discord right now. This is not a okay, can you okay. Anyways, I should cut that out of the video. Um shoot. Okay. So most great. I've completely lost my train of thought. What the fuck? Okay, where was it? Right. Violet Vessel Ranting. Anyways, most other anti 8 final bosses don't really pose that much of a threat other than the fact that you need 400,000 points to beat it, which is pretty difficult. Now, what is it? Now, for other bosses outside of the Violet Vessel, even then, your pairs are some of the strongest metas right now, are one of the strongest hands in the game, but there's still some pretty nasty bosses, like the Needle, which is half the blind size it is normally, but you only get one hand. And when you normally need about like four-ish hands to clear a blind, having that reroll is an absolute lifesaver. The wall, a mini Violet Vessel, just very big, and in certain points of the game, when you just don't have that insane amount of scoring, it's very helpful to be able to re-roll that. Even the Eye, which is no repeat hands, which makes it where you can only play one pair, and if all of your other hands suck garbage because you were focusing on leveling up one hand, then that is a lifesaver. There's just like half the time bosses in this game do jack shit, and the other half of the time they fucking just tell you, "Hey, sorry, man, you just kind of lose now." So having that reroll is insane. Now for its second tier, um, not that. It's not that great. It's still good. Being able to roll a single. So the first tier can only reroll once per ante, and then the second tier can reroll an unlimited amount of times. So means you can, if you have the money, you can get a very you can make sure you don't get unlucky with the reroll, which is nice, but I don't think it's that much better. Like, if I see it, I guess I'll buy it, but unless, but most of the time I'm using the boss reroll just for the final boss, just to make sure I don't get Violet Vessel, because Violet Vessel is a run killer a good 50% of the time. Um, so having the one reroll is normally enough. So I'm gonna say this one's. I'd say it's probably down here. It definitely has its use cases. Like there's like when you're still trying to get to the final boss, the bosses in the middle. There's quite a few of them that can be nasty. So it can kind of save you from getting unlucky with your reroll, right? But other than that, um, not the most important voucher in the world. But the first tier though is an actual godsend. Now the last, oh my god, the last two vouchers. Plus one hand size. Pretty good. I don't genuinely think I can put it on the same tier as an extra hand and a boss reroll, but they are still both pretty up here. So hand size is amazing. All right. If you're playing, what hand size allows you to do in basic, to make it put as simply as possible, is allows you just to hold more cards in your hand. Uh, well, I mean, yeah, duh, Bronson. Gee, could you get a little bit more obvious for me? This is getting a little too confusing right now. No, but like what I'm trying to say is, being able the significance of being able to hold more cards in your hand is incredible. If you're playing 5 cards hands, all right, and you have 4 of the cards you need, but you're still trying to find that fifth 5 card, you have to discard 4 cards at a time with an 8 card hand to find it. So now you can't. So you're basically seeing less cards just because you're trying to play a 5 card hand. You just in general see less cards, which is bad. But with palette, or I think that's what it's called, or paintbrush, you get to hold more cards. Now you can discard 5 cards and hold 4 cards at the same time. And then even for things like pairs, you can hold 2 blue seals. I mean, pairs, I'd say pair and high card, it doesn't matter too much personally. But 5 card hands, though, very powerful. And another thing is blue seals in 5 card hands. Normally, 5 card hands have very good scaling, like, but the problem is trying to hold a blue seal and play a 5 card hand at the same time can be pretty rough at times and scary because you go from having to, at worst, holding 4 cards in your hand, and then you can only discard 4 cards at a time. But with a blue seal, you might end up having to hold 5 cards at a time just to get blue seal value, and then trying to still find it. Or you're holding onto your straight, and then you're holding on to 5 cards, and then you're trying to find your blue seal, but you only have an 8 card hand. You can only discard 3 cards at a time. That's pretty bad. That's pretty fucking bad. So having that extra hand size really makes it a lot more reasonable to actually be able to scale your straights, for example, with your blue seals or even gold cards or steel cards, or maybe you have a baron and you want to hold your kings for more scoring, or a shoot the moon, you want to hold your queens for more scoring. Don't ask me why you're playing shoot the moon, but you know what I mean. You get it. Extra hand size, very powerful, very helpful. I generally always try to pick it up if I can. So yeah. Anyways, my throat is parched. I see why every YouTuber who does these videos carries like a bottle of water with them, like with these. Like, God, man, I oh my goodness. Anyways, so that's my tier list. Let me know what you guys think. I'm very open for discussion about certain opinions on this. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you later.